Hello everyone, welcome back to Legacy Realty Project Analysis. I'm Paul.
Okay.
I'm Jolene.
Today we're going to go through Pinery Residences. Okay, so some of the flow that we're going to go through today will be on project overview, land bid prices, project location overview, and of course the site plans and floor plans. And in it, we're also going to go through a deep dive on 3 reasons why this project is positioned to outperform. So moving on.
Let's go.
So a little bit of project details over here. 588 units in total, 60 units of restaurant and retail. MRT right below your footsteps. So of course this comes with 474 residential car park as well as 164 commercial car park.
Yeah.
Right? So of course, how about the land bid situation?
Okay, so for the land bid over here, right, you can tell that based on Pinery land cost, we are definitely the cheapest. So this gives us a little bit of window of opportunity with the upcoming GLS. So you can see the upcoming Bayshore, okay, we are actually at 1388. Then as compared to Pinery is 104. So on and so forth. Okay, if you notice on the news, the recent Hougang Central, which is also a mixed development, okay, but of course they have bus interchange. We do not have any bus interchange, okay. They are bidded at 1179.
That's much higher.
Yeah, much higher. But I mean that. Okay, having a low land cost nowadays doesn't mean that the developer also will launch cheap lah. But there is this chance that they have some units that is going to be very attractively priced lah.
Because even if like the time we were comparing about the Tanjong Roo,
Yes.
the Bedok rides and stuff, actually their land bid price is much higher than
Yes.
ours already.
Correct.
Yeah.
I guess you can't really say every title will translate fully, right? Because at 1,000 per square feet per pro ratio, we have seen before places like Atlanta also getting this kind of pricing. But whatever they release, right, might be different because when you're doing something like a mixed development, right, it's going to cost a lot more in terms of building.
It's like
Right.
premium.
Because there are common space and
Yeah.
stuff like that. Okay, then of course we do a little bit of comparison. Okay, so if we talk about the upcoming OCR launches, as we know, 80% of the launches this year is going to be OCR. Okay, and RCR, of course, CCR is just River Modern for now. Okay, you can see that Bayshore, both Bayshore and Chuan Grove, okay, we are looking at around close to 1,003 XXPSR PPR already, as compared to Pinery.
This is like a norm already.
Yes, and it's crazily amazing on how the land are being bidded by the developer now. Then of course, if we compare to the recent Bedok price, okay, it's also in the east side. It's just right next to Tanah Merah MRT. Okay, and then of course they have the new Seneca Mall in the facility right.
Oh yeah, I just remember we were talking about Lento just now, right? I thought recently there's a news.
Yes.
They
Pretty
sold
high though.
1287.
1287 for Lento.
Yeah.
So right now this is like
you know,
a
I saw
normal.
on Shades Time. They say that they are gonna launch at about 26 to 27 p.m.
Wow.
Oh wow. That is like much higher than what we expected for Pinery already.
I think it's something that can realize that a lot of people start to notice and be able to accept this kind of price point. That's why developers dare to buy at this
Right,
kind of
yeah.
land price. So this is just a norm that we're gonna move into lah, I guess.
Then again, because the developer is Waco lah, they sort of like
They,
monopolize.
yeah, they have quite a few plots under them.
Correct.
also.
So they definitely have price control over
Yeah.
them.
True.
So after talking about the land price and stuff, I think it's for people who do not know about the area itself, let's dive in a little bit deeper. So if we were to see where Pinery Residence is located at, we are right next to the Tampines West MRT, which is directly linked also. So that's like downtown line, you can get to a lot of places.
Yeah.
So in terms of like driving and stuff, we are very near to the PIE also. Yeah. So that's for the accessibility. In terms of convenience wise, right, I would say that because we're in the heartland area. So not talking about Tampines Round Market or Tampines Mall area itself. Heartland area means more HDB cluster, which means that you have a lot more convenient coffee shop and stuff there. So we have even like Tampines Round Market, few minutes walk down, we can reach the main Tampines area, which you have the Century Square, Tampines Mall and stuff. And I think the best part is we are within 1 kilometer from St. Hilda's Primary School, which is a very sought after school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tampines.
Correct. And another thing that we also want to point out, if you're someone who like nature, like recreational, we are actually right next to Safra Tampines and minutes walk away from Bedok Reservoir Park. So I would say that Pinery Residence is located in an area that what you need is everything there already.
Say right, this location itself, right? Very rarely you get one screenshot of a map, right? And everything is already done.
Oh,
right?
right.
This is what we call a fully established heartland area, like, whereby you have everything there. You got your malls, you got your park, you got your shopping area, you got your schools. Everything they can think of in the heartland, right? It's just all within walking distance. This is one of the reasons why this is such a popular pick, lah.
Yeah. In terms of the connectivity, right, we are actually located at Tampines West. So actually Parktown is located slightly further, which is the
Tampines
Tampines North. But it's not as, I will say, well established as this
It's not as
cluster.
mature. Like,
Yeah,
it's not as
mature.
yet.
Correct. So in terms of connectivity, if we were to see minutes drive in terms of MRT, we can reach Changi Airport within 15 minutes. So much convenient. And if you are someone who work in the CBD, downtown line all the way to downtown line station is around 30 minutes only. So it's pretty convenient also. So I would say that in terms of accessibility, it can actually reach a lot of stations like Transit at MacPherson to Circle Line,
Yep.
Transit at Chinatown for Northeast Line and stuff.
Okay, moving on to the site plan of Pinery Residences. Okay, you can see that Hoi Ha, being the developer, they actually have everything well thought of. Okay, we have a full facility condo like tennis court, and then we have very good amount of pools over here and pavilions in the site plan itself. So they actually give a maximum setback for the 6th block in total. So when you head down to the show flat and take a look at the model, right, it's actually quite impressive. So apart from that, right, just now Paul actually mentioned that there is more inside, underneath us, okay, and also the MRT is so right at our doorstep. So how we connect this development to the MRT is actually a underground linkway to Tampines West MRT. Then apart from that, the development also carries like a 24-hour through block link. I think this is quite common for your mixed development nowadays to enhance the access in the development.
If I were to see at the site plan, right, you realize that actually all the units either facing north or south. So they actually position in the way that none of the unit, I would say, is too bad. Yeah.
Correct.
Really maximize the entire space. No? You're facing, each of it is actually separated with a pool area.
Yes.
Yeah, so really enhancing the entire facade line.
Another thing is just now mentioned about car parks, actually because it's directly linked to the downtown line. But they give 400 plus car park lots, which is pretty impressive.
Yeah, and not only that, for car parks, right, for residential and commercial, we have 2 separate exits and so 2 separate amount of car parks that is catered for the residential and commercial respectively.
So no overcrowding.
Yes, no overcrowding, the exits are totally different, and then I think everything is very well thought of inside here.
Of course, we move right into the floor plan itself, deep diving into how the entire layout and structure is going to be like. Of course, looking at all these numbers itself, we've got 2 beders, 3 beders, 4 beders, and 5 beders. And the amount of percentage, you can see 2 beders only owns to 43% of the development. But when it comes to this kind of property, right, what we always refer to is that it's going to be a very own stay kind of project, right? Majority being 3 and 4 beders, bigger size unit, catering to heartlanders. Based on statistics that we've seen before, properties like this makes the best appreciation. So right now, we're going to go through the floor plans. Quite interestingly, if you notice, there's actually no 1 bedroom and no 2 bed, 1 bath. It starts at 2 bed, 2 bath.
Yes.
And this is very important because this is why when we look at project, we will consider this a more own stay project, which is true because it's a heartland area. Most people are going to buy this for their own stay. And based on our statistics and what we've done in terms of the research, right, most project that's own stay, right, actually makes the most profit. Very investment-centric places with a lot of 1 bedder, 2 bedders because of all this movement, all these transactions, and of course buyers looking at purely numbers to buy into this project.
The price will head up.
Correct, they do not earn as much, right? So going to 2 bedroom itself, there's actually 4 kind of layouts, right? Starting from 624 all the way to 700 square feet. Conventional layout, we got dumbbell layouts, everything is all started at 2 bed, 2 bath. So depending on your own preference, some you want to own stay, some you want to rent it out. You get to pick yourself. Of course, the start that we actually put there is projects or unit size that we find the most interesting and also the most profitable potentially.
We will doing some comparison at the end.
Correct. We'll go through for every single layout, right? Even deeper dive into that itself. Okay, but right now, just simple go through of the 4 bedders, right? You have your own picks, right? Majority is actually open concept kitchen, but some of the layout we actually have enclosable ones as well. So for 3 bedroom, there's actually 7 types, which is great because when it comes to this type of project, right, people like to have different choices, right? You got small 3 bedrooms or compact 3 bedrooms at 807 square feet.
Yep.
I think it's a very interesting layout. You actually have a dumbbell style, right? 1 bedroom all the way to the other end, perfect for young families, right? That maybe wanting to use it as a study room, right? Or work desk or baby cot area or helper's room, right? There's so many picks that you can actually do with. And it goes all the way up to 1055 square feet. And this kind of 3 bedroom, right, it got bigger family style already. And what's really unique about this is that the master bedroom actually have a study room as well. So potentially, right, you can expand this entire space. You can actually build a walk-in wardrobe, right? Let's say you got 4 panels, 5 panels, very comfortably, you can actually still add it in.
I actually kind of like this kind, very flexy.
For sure.
Wardrobe.
I think these are very common in most of our clients.
Woman's dream, basically.
Yeah, the walk-in wardrobe space while still not affecting any of your other 2 bedrooms.
Yep.
Yeah, of course, this also comes with a storage room, right? Which is great. You always need to have a storeroom for all your luggages and all your family needs. Okay, so these are for all the 3 bedders. Plenty of choices. Of course, anytime you're curious about what kind of layout suits you best, just let us know. You can actually go through all the layouts, right? And of course, what we know in terms of appreciation as well.
Yeah.
Okay, so coming to 4 bedrooms, 5 layouts in total, starting from 1141, which is the smallest size, 4 bedroom compact. And this is actually a lot smaller than a lot of competition around. But as you can see from the floor plan, right, it's still very efficient. You still get your kitchen, you still get your storeroom, right? 4 bedrooms in total, two bathroom, right? Very comfortable space. And it goes all the way up to 1,389 square feet, right? 200 square feet difference, what are you getting? First thing, you get a study room and a living space. A lot wider as well. Of course, you have your dry kitchen, your wet kitchen, your bomb shelter also. And most important, we found out that a lot of people actually prefer to have 3 bathrooms in the house when it comes to 4 bedroom. Right? If not, majority of them, sometimes 3 bedrooms, right, they have to share 1 bathroom. And bigger family guys, they might not like it as much. Right? But when it comes to something like this, right, it's perfect for big family or even 3 generations.
Because that one is actually a Jack and Jill, so you actually have much more access.
Right. So there's a convenience factor where you're going to sizes like this. Of course, right now with 5 bedder, we only have 1 stack, 1 design. So this is like a limited edition choice.
Help you.
Very rare.
And the one thing to notice, right, is that at the bedroom itself, which is nearest to the living, you actually have a hackable wall. A little bit rare, but for the developer, right, they actually want to do this so that you actually have this flexibility.
Yeah.
That if you want to open it up to have a very big living space, right, to host your family and friends, right, you can actually do so. So right now we are going to go into a very key factor, which is 3 reasons why this project will outperform. So of course, most important, all the HDB over there. What do you think?
Okay, I think that for Tampines itself, right, first thing is that it's a heartland area. And for Tampines West area, we are actually quite shocked when we extracted the numbers out.
Yeah.
The MOP cluster, right, actually close to 15,000
Wow.
MOP flats. And those are like going to MOP from 2025 onwards. Okay, so when people always ask when they want to buy a project,
Yeah.
who will buy from me next time? If I buy this, will I be able to exit safely and stuff? So to us, right, we feel that if a project has a very, attract investor, attract a lot of future upgraders, actually, it has a pretty healthy resale demand.
Yeah.
So based on this, we realize that almost 15,000. But if we were to dive deep into the surrounding the Pinery itself, right, within 5 to 6 minutes walking distance, we do have 6 different projects already. HDB cluster already around 4,200 HDB MOP flats. Okay, why we want to point out this HDB is that a lot of HDB upgraders, once they stay in the cluster, they're very used to the surrounding. Sometimes also because of aspect like the amenities, the school. Yes, like because of the kids itself, they may want to send their kids to St. Hilda's and
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah, so they just want to upgrade maybe a better lifestyle living, but still within the cluster itself. So,
I think it's something that I noticed as well, especially when we serve a lot of resale clients, right?
Correct.
When they already live there and then have their entire life integrated into that township itself, right? It's so hard for them to actually get out of that place.
Correct.
Right? The tuition center, the swimming pool classes, right? All these are already there. Right?
yeah, and because Tampines has been transforming for quite a period of time, so it's a very pretty established township already. Yeah.
Considering that Pinery actually enhances, is the development that enhances the neighborhood over here. Pinery comes with more, there will be fair price, there will be childcare, and then there will be kopitiam inside. So it really brings the whole entire living standards in the whole entire area. And if you notice in Tampines, right, we don't have any developments that is within 500-meter walk from MRT station. Pinery is the only one. I mean, Park Town aside, but Park Town is in a whole different...
It's a Tampines West
location,
area, yeah. All right. So now we realize that there are so many clusters, right? If we talk a little bit about the affordability, right? Wow, actually quite shocking. Even the older MOP in Tampines, right?
Yeah.
4-room, right? They can hit as high as 860,000 in terms of transactions. And even the 5-room can close to 1 million already. So we realize that actually 那边的人 they are able to exceed and have quite a huge profit. And that is just by the older estate owner. Correct. And if we were to narrow back into just now what we mentioned, all the BTO, all the newer HDB cluster that it's going to MOP, better layout, much more efficient, newer conditions and stuff. So just by the surrounding, most of the 4-room, right, when they bought in is around 300 plus onwards and 5-room 400 plus onwards. So if you use back just now the pricing that we talked about, right, like the older estate, right, I think for 4-room, for them to exceed 900 to 1 mil, I don't think it's an issue. I think 5-room can even hit higher than 1 mil already. So imagine within the next few years as they save up their career itself, their CPF build up, and sitting on a profit of up to 600K from their current HLP, I feel that for them to upgrade to private in the future is not very
comfortable.
Yeah, very comfortable, correct. Because that I think can sufficiently cover their down payment and stuff. Yeah, so these poor people will potentially be the next future upgraders for Pinery units itself, because sometimes they do not want to wait also.
Yes.
Besides talking about HDB, I think we also need to talk a little bit about the private estate itself surrounding.
So as we mentioned right just now that we don't have any development that is within 500-meter walk of Tampines, the main MRT station, Tampines West, okay, the substation. Okay. Over here, right, if we take Park Town as analysis, because Park Town is going to be our twin system, is the most relevant comparison because it's also a mixed development next to Tampines North, right? And if we break down Park Town buyers profile, right, okay, we notice that actually 57% of them, right, comes from a private address. This
Actually, more than half.
Yeah, more than half. It's quite surprising because I think one of the main reasons is because the surrounding condos over there are rather of not the newest lah. It's ranging from 2008 to 2001, 3, 1, 5, the kind of age already. So there's literally nothing for them to upgrade to. So Pinery being the newest product in the area, okay, and convenience and then lifestyle, everything is an upgrade. If you want to remain in the area, you only have Park Town and Pinery to choose, correct?
And this is something that we realize as well. Why we always talk about resale market is here, right? Because eventually Pinery will be in the resale market. And what we notice in the resale market, a lot of people, they like to move towards the MRT.
Yes.
The central region, the integrated, you look at places like Watertown, Pasir Ris, all these. People are moving towards there because eventually, right, they want to be at the same location, but they want to be more convenient within the same town.
Because I got this client who used to buy a 3-bedroom condo. We actually searched like in Punggol itself, for example, and then we really want convenient, which is MRT and stuff. So we really narrowed down and bought 3-bedroom. Now they decide to sell and want to upgrade to a bigger one, but they very specifically will high sale outside tree. So you realize that people still want to stay within the area, even if they want to upgrade to 4-bedroom or 5-bedroom.
Alright, because I think upgrade is a lot of definition, like subject subjective to everyone.
Correct.
So sometimes moving closer to the MRT is a very big bonus.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then I think this shows in our resale transaction in the area lah. So we actually put out like Trillion, City Light,
Yeah.
and then Treasures. Okay, because Treasures, Tapestry, all these are the newer products in the development in the area, right? So in summary, right, when we pull out transactions from Trillion, City Life up, all this transaction that is listed over here, we notice that right, the profit made over the 3 and 4 bedroom is very substantial.
1.7
Yeah, it's great.
We're all talking about this is the profits. We're not even talking about what is the amount of capital
Yes,
that's already
correct.
inside the property as well,
Yes.
and how much they can cash out.
Yeah, exactly. So if you notice for Tapestry, Treasures, and Tampines, right, they are not close to MRT, and they are the newest product in the area. Okay, in the past maybe 4 to 5 years timing, okay, they are profiting at about 600k for their 3 bedroom, okay, and their 4 bedroom, okay, they are transacting from 700k to 800k. This is very enough. When it comes to down payment for their next upgrade over
correct.
here. So as you can see over here, to upgrade to Pinery over here, okay, you basically for 3 bedroom, right, you only need about 600 plus K
Correct.
of down payment.
So any of the 3 bidder here, just watch their profit,
Yeah.
right, they might already be able to just do the down payment.
Yes, and there's still remaining. There's still
Correct,
balance
correct.
if they choose to swap from a 3 bedroom Treasures to a 3
And have a
bedroom.
newer lease and have a better location. So it's
Convenience,
almost a no-brainer for a lot of these owners.
Correct.
Just depending on whether they want to make that move or not.
Yeah,
Correct.
and not just for the 3 bedroom, or 4 bedroom and 5 bedroom, right? I think a lot of the condo owner over here, right, are very comfortable with this kind of amount in terms of the
Very
bullet.
true.
And for 2,450 per square feet, this is the mid-range of what we have estimated for Pinery to launch at. So it's not the cheapest. Imagine they get a very, very good ballot number. They can enter this and instant get a bigger gain
Correct.
over here. So I feel that I think it's one of a very, very strong point of why Pinery is set up to outperform the area.
Now we talk about the price matrix as well. Of course, this is something you guys have been waiting for. What is the price point that Pinery is? Of course, moving forward, we also go more a deeper dive into understanding what is a good price to enter as well.
Yeah.
Right. So of course, this is the price matrix you can see: the 2 bidders, 3 bidders, 4 bidders, and 5 bidders. Starting with 2 bidders, right, we're gonna start at $1.4+ million. Of course, this is usually what we refer to as maybe the second floor, third floor unit. Right. Not the best location. Moving up, the average will be about 2,450 per square feet. So that's about 1.52 million for 2 bedder. And of course, 3 bedroom, you start at 1.9 million, 4 bedroom start at 2.6 million, right? Of course, at the same time, 5 bedroom, you probably start at about 3.4, 3.5 million. Okay, so going to the floor plan comparison. So we're gonna go very deep dive right now already. What is the difference? And of each of the 2 bedder, right? If you're looking at a 2 bedder, what do we suggest? Okay, so for a 2 bedder itself, right? A lot of these comparisons will be with Park Town Residences.
Yeah.
And why? Right? Because this is the newest twin sister of
Yeah.
Pinery Residences.
Yeah.
And why we say this, right, is that you're entering something that is launched last year, right?
Last January.
Last January. Right, so you're coming in 1 year later, and these are the potential people gains already because it's almost the same thing. 5-10 years later, right, this is going to be the next comparison. When it's like, oh, do I want to go with Tampines North MRT or do I want to go with Tampines West MRT? Which one would I pick and what price point? Okay, so first thing is 2 bedroom. We will suggest the 624 square feet, right? This is going to be very, very efficient. If you look side by side with Park Town Residences 2 bedder, that is also the smallest 2 bedder. Dumbbell layout, efficient. Same thing, you get a kitchen area itself. Of course, the 624, you don't have the enclosable kitchen area, but you still have 2 bed, 2 bath. And this is about 50 square feet smaller. And in terms of quantum, if you look at Park Town, right, it's already transacted at 1.73. This is 1.46.
Yeah, starting from.
You have about $200,000 for something almost similar
Similar.
and almost the same age. So isn't that kind of like a potential people gain already sitting there 5 years later? Right, this is for where investment centric buyers, I must say. Okay, so of course 3 bedder. So same thing, 3 bedder. The smallest unit for Park Town was a 926 square feet unit.
Both of it is also a dumbbell 3 bedroom.
Yeah.
Correct. We put it side by side for you to see, right? It's exactly the same kind of layout. Of course, the main difference that I can see is that for Park Town, right, the kitchen is a little bit bigger. So, of course, when it comes to 3 bedroom compact, depending on buyer profile, especially if you're renting out as well, most of them is going to be smaller size family,
Yeah.
might not need such a big kitchen. And for this space difference, right, you're saving 110 square feet. You times 2 down 4, right, on paper, that's about 250k of savings already, which can be shown as well that Pinery is going to launch at 1.9 million, while Park Town just last year, right, and in fact, the last transaction for this layout, right, is actually 2.2 million. 2.19 to be exact. So that's about close to 300k of difference really.
Yeah.
Just based on 1 year later. And mind you, of course, based on our opinion, we think that Tampines West is closer to Central as well. Right? Now, of course, now this is the big boy, the 4 beta. And if you're looking for the maximum appreciation in the next 5 to 10 years, right? I personally believe this might be the better choice.
Definitely.
Yeah, reason is very simple. We didn't take the smallest 4 beta because we believe this 1195 square feet, right, is actually of a more premium pick.
Yep.
Yep.
If you look at the floor plan between that and the smallest 4 beta in Park Town, which is 1,356 square feet, right, it's almost the same thing. But in fact, right, at the 1195 is a 4-bed plus study. And 4-bed plus study, we're talking about our landscape living potentially, right? So right now, we talk about 5 years later, 8 years later, in the resale market, when buyers buy a property in the resale market, right, a lot of this is based on feelings as well. When they walk inside the development, right? First thing you can see on the park down side, there's a longer corridor leading to a smaller living space.
Yeah.
You compare it to Pinery, you walk in, there's actually a storeroom area as you can see.
Which is also flexible.
It's so
And
flexible.
the living room is actually look wider also.
Correct. So once you remove, if let's say you want to remove that flexible storeroom plus a study area, right, you eventually have a very full squarish plus a landscape layout. It gives you more generosity in terms of space. And this gives also potential buyers in the future that might pick this over a unit in Park Town, possibly. And you're already entering about close to $500,000 lesser. So
I think quantum play nowadays, especially for buyers, is slightly more sensitive.
Correct.
Yeah. My impression of Park Town, right, is there are 3-bedroom and above, right? They are all very big units. Yeah. So you basically there is no room. There's no in between. And for Pinery, it comes in as an in between, but it doesn't it doesn't eat into what you need.
Correct.
I think that's
What
the
you need
crucial
in
part.
terms of the unit itself, they will still provide whatever
Correct,
space.
correct. Yes.
So between these two comparison, right, this is something that you can see. You're getting something cheaper, but at the same time, possibly in the resale market, be valued higher.
Yes.
So that's what I call getting a valued buy, right? So of course, apart from the floor plan spaces, all that as well, right, we're also going to very deep dive on the recent transactions. So Park Town and Pasir Ris comes in mind because these two are the most recent integrated projects nearby.
Yeah.
And these are already the transacted prices, right? If you look at Park Town itself, there's already transaction hitting 2,500 per square feet, right? The 3-beders hitting 2.6 million. So this is almost the same pricing as what we're actually launching in Bedok. And of course, when you look at something that is about 5 years old, right? Pasir Ris 8 already TOP, and in terms of their sub-sale market, right, they're running about 2,001 to 2,002 per square feet.
And they are pre-harmonized.
Pre-harmonized.
Yeah.
And in terms of this segregation, it's usually about an 8% difference, right? So if you consider the post-harmonized world, right, it's actually about 2003 for something that's 5 years older and at Pasir Ris, not Tampines. Yeah, so based on these two numbers, right, you can see for Park Town and Pasir Ris 8, I mean, being about 2005 already, being about 2003 per square feet already, something like Pinery, which is an even better location and a mixed development as well, right? This is why it's a good buy.
If we were to add on a little bit more, is that because just now we mentioned Bedok Rise already. Bedok Rise being a 1,330 PSF, I would say that for them to break even, it's already 2,324, which is very similar to our launch price, which means that when they launch, I don't think they will launch at 2,324,
Yeah.
maybe 2,728. And so in the future, for us to see this kind of pricing, I think maybe a bit hard already.
Yeah.
So it's a good entry right now. And even just now when Paul mentioned the Park Town, right, they can hit as high as 2.5 already. So people in Tampines, they are able to accept this kind of quantum.
Yeah.
I think generally you have to see what the demand is in the area, because
Right.
even when we rewind time back to Pasir Ris 8 time, they were the first
To cross 2,000,
yeah,
right?
correct. They were the first development in OCR, and Pasir Ris is not exactly like the nearest to the central area, and they are able to hit like 2001 on launch day, and they increased like so many times, like six times I think on launch
Yeah.
day itself. This already proved that the heartlanders just wants that upgrade, yeah,
Within the same location.
yeah, in the same area.
So these are three summary you have, right? Why it is a strong factor. This will be a very outperforming project itself.
Yeah.
Of course, now we come to a summary and also a conclusion as well. We like to ask this question. So every property we always feel can buy what? The question is always at what price, right?
At what price?
At what price that potentially you can look at the kind of investment gains, or at the same time it's worthwhile for you to stay in it yourself.
Yeah.
So maybe I can ask Pear first. So what do you think could be a right pricing?
Pricing. Actually, if you ask me, for Pinery, right, even though the PSF looks a bit higher, but in quantum wise, right, we are actually lower. So looking at the mid-range 3-bedroom at 990, which means that in a pre-harmonized setting, it's about 1,000-ish kind of size.
Correct.
Okay, is at 2.5 mil. Okay, 2.5 mil with a mixed development setup. Okay, usually mixed development and normal residential, there's a 30% premium.
Yeah,
right?
correct.
This is definitely lesser than the 30% premium, and you get to live the convenience and the lifestyle. You get to have the convenience and the lifestyle that you want. And most importantly, our sister Park Town, okay, we don't have anything similar.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, and in terms of quantum, right, I think now everything is a quantum play. So anything that is about 2450, right, I think is quite safe in the market. Yeah, despite the slightly higher PSF, safe, very, very safe to exit. But of course, when it launched, if it launched at a slightly higher price, then we need to reanalyze in terms of the unit type. Yeah, but definitely, I think in the area, if you can buy 3-bedroom, right, I think it's best to buy a 3-bedroom, no matter like what the size is, because it's 3.1.
I think for me, I also feel around 2.5-ish. I think it's still a pretty safe buy because we can see like Park Town, people are okay with paying 2.5
Yes,
to
2.5
2.6. I think there's a transaction that hit as close as 2.6. So people are okay with that, and a lot are upgraders.
Yes.
For them is I just want to upgrade for convenience and stuff. I want to stay in the locale. So if we were to look into 3-4 beta, I think it's still a pretty good buy.
Yeah.
Yeah, in the area itself. So I would say that in terms of price point, even if we compare to future GRS, right, I think we are entering at a very good price already. Because I would say that 1 year later, I don't think we can see this kind of pricing.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I mean, I fully agree to that as well because this might be one of the last plot of land, right? That you can get mixed development near MRT, and it's downtown line MRT. A lot more convenient as well in terms of a straight line to the central region. Something like this might not come again, especially in this Tampines region. And of course, when you already have somebody just 1 year ago transacting 2,005 per square feet. Right, something like this, like what you guys say, 2005, I think is a very good entry. Of course, in terms of profitability and in terms of how much we can actually gain from this, right, we already have to see on the macro scale itself. Of course, how Singapore market move along. But entering it in at 2005, when you have land price coming at 1,002, it might launch and probably sell at the same price point. Then the question always comes in, something that's integrated with HDBs already ready to upgrade, that when you want to exit in the future, 5 to 8 years down the road, right, how many buyers are there waiting? And is there any other competition coming up next time? Yeah, so if that's the case, yeah, I also guess that 2005 is a very, very good entry already.
I think we really need to educate ourselves in how the government is moving in terms of the government land sale. So we need to re-emphasize again, this year 80% of the launches are actually OCR and RCR. So you can really see that after River Modern, right, all the launches are going upwards again.
Previous year was all CCR.
Yeah, correct. So when there's a reshuffle in terms of the pricing, right, I think this pricing is like 300 TSF jump as compared to the previous passing state. So you can see every cycle jumps about 300 TSF. And for Tampines, right, it's so mature that I want gain also to have. There's just no land in the whole entire area of this part of Tampines. So I think it's going to be rare unless like you're talking about slightly more out like without the MRT corridor.
So that's all for today. Hope you have learned enough as well. And of course, if you have any questions right regarding stack selection, what's coming out in the URA master plan, we actually have all of this information as well. So reach us out, either drop a comment, Pinery below. If not, reach us at our social media platform.
Do remember to follow?
Yeah, follow as well and subscribe. And we'll see you soon.
Bye.